Irony alert. President Donald J. Trump says we need foreign workers because America doesn't have enough talent. Sound off.
Isn't he getting rid of foreign people right now? I mean, just
Just the
That
ones that
is the,
didn't take legal channels to get here. I get it, but like this was this should have been expected. At least if you're doing a bunch of construction, but because that's usually the field that happens. I'm not trying to be funny. Like it's a like a carpentry thing or whatever. But
mm,
um, it also kind of like I think if you're doing a trade, you should be able to do this. I would need more information to like really go in on it.
Okay.
But it is like a it's something that I feel like if you were just the way you went about it, it was probably mentioned in your planning or should have been.
who's planning?
So if I'm getting rid of a bunch of illegals, right, or that's the stance I'm taking, and they all end up doing trade work, plumbing, carpentry, construction, whatever, right? That's gonna affect that workforce.
mm-hmm.
So
But I thought he was.
proper planning.
I thought he was supposed to be getting the criminals.
It well, technically, anybody that got here without taking the like just came over without going through proper channels for immigration would be a criminal in the strictest sense of the word because you came here illegally, right? And just like working in kitchens and doing construction work, there's a lot of reform criminals that take up those job slots. So again, that's something that should have been talked about or planned better. I don't know if I would have went about saying like we need to get more foreign people because they're not because the Americans aren't talented. Like I said, I would need to see it or read the article.
I'm about to pull it up.
All right.
Let's be honest. Most Americans is not going to do the jobs that these foreign workers are doing. They don't work in
That's
factories. They don't work in manufacturing companies. They don't work out in the farms. They don't work in the field. They don't do landscape. They don't do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So this is the consequence of already ripping people away from doing what we call work or jobs that we don't necessarily that actually need that type of talent. But this is just a consequence from that happening when people are getting ripped away from their families. But that's the kind of that's just what's happening. So more to come.
Immigration in the United States appears to be shifting, and this time the change is coming directly from within the White House. After years of promising to tighten America's borders and curb the inflow of foreign workers, the president now seems to be softening his stance, acknowledging that the country needs skilled talent from abroad to fill crucial jobs. In a Fox News interview aired on Tuesday night, President Trump said the United States doesn't have talented workers in certain fields as he defended the H-1B skilled worker visa program. Now, the H-1B visa allows U.S. companies to hire highly skilled foreign professionals, often in technology and engineering, for periods of up to 6 years. And when pressed on whether his administration would reduce these visas over concerns of lowering wages for Americans, President Trump conceded that while he agreed that protecting local jobs is important, there are some areas where, as he put it, you do have to bring in talent. When pressed on claims that the U.S. already had plenty of skilled workers, the U.S. president responded saying, quote, "No, you don't," end quote.
Don't have certain talents and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles.
That's literally what they do. And you can do that. People can do anything when you train them to do something. To
I
say that,
mean,
huh?
so specifically for missiles, just specifically for missiles,
Go
because
ahead.
I get that, but there's certain security background checks that you just won't pass. So like in that one instance, yes, you can't just do that.
No, but so let's assume everything is above board, right? Say these people that are in the unemployment line got laid off and all of this type of stuff. There's a reason why they're in the unemployment line, meaning that they did have some sort of skill because they had a
Right.
job previous to that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like you can take people out of a line and train them to do things. No, okay, so we talking about people passing certain things or whatever, like meaning like, oh yeah, you were a criminal, that X, Y, and Z happened, you were an ex-con, or all right, cool. But he's straight up saying you don't have certain talents. Yo, we're going to make missiles. Am I in charge of Omari is an engineer. Omari is an engineer. He commissions people. He figures out how to create something. Then he creates it, and then he has people that duplicate what he's created. Am I right or wrong? More or less. Is that
Yeah,
part
somewhat.
of, yeah, somewhat right. But people who don't know what they're doing coming in, you come in and they're trained on what to do.
Right.
That's
No,
all.
okay.
That's
No,
all.
I got you. Just in the interest of national security, and again, this is specifically for missiles, because what the report was talking about was more engineers and like IT stuff, so that makes sense. But
Yeah, he talking about yeah.
right,
Yeah,
um,
I'm not talking about, scientists or anything like that. I mean,
yeah,
stuff that requires, yes, a higher IQ and a higher level of understanding. You know what I mean? But you don't have a lack of bodies. You don't. And you don't have a lack of people that want to work. You don't.
right. But the report was based on engineers and IT and some other stuff. So, like in
So
that
when
sense,
he's talking about making missiles, he's talking about actually like creating a missile that hasn't been created already.
right. So,
Okay.
like stuff like that. At least that's what I'm putting together, because
Picking up.
I don't, yeah.
All right. Cool.
If this is on track, right? You don't want to just grab somebody that, for lack of a better, like if it was an illegal or whatever, you don't know who they're working for or
Right.
if they're here doing something. So like that is one thing.
Mhm.
That's fine. What the report was talking about was like engineers, and it sounds like stuff that people are developing and stuff like that, like project management for future stuff. And technology is always one of those weird things, because if we want to be on the cutting edge of something, we don't want people to just walk in and take it. So that's what the H-1B or the HB-1
Yeah.
visa is all about. So like having the ability to hire a workforce that is already good in that field, and basically like most of the engineers are coming from like India and other countries. That's what the companies have kind of started to rely on. So him conceding the fact like, yeah, we lost a bunch of workers and we got rid of a bunch of people, this would also be a legal channel for them to come back. It's one of those like, he did essentially admit like, yeah, I'm kind of scaling some stuff back, but it's for certain reasons. Because in the end of the day, his thing is to get the country to be the most important thing and start producing things. So it's a give and take there, at least from what I picked up from the report.
Right.
The president even pointed to a recent immigration raid at a Hyundai facility in Georgia where hundreds of South Korean contractors were deported as evidence of America's dependence on foreign expertise. He also defended his plan to allow more international students, particularly from China, to study in the United States. Now, despite strong pushback from within his own MAGA base, President Trump argued that international enrollment is vital for the survival of American universities. And when confronted with charges that Chinese students spy and steal intellectual property, the president stood his ground, saying that without high-paying international students, half the colleges in the United States could go out of business.
We do have a lot of people coming in from China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, half the colleges in the United States would go out of business.
Now, the plan, which could bring over 600,000 Chinese students to the U.S., has sharply divided opinion. MAGA activists have warned that it could open doors for Chinese spies, but at the same time, the Trump administration continues to impose stricter controls elsewhere. For example, in September, President Trump signed an executive order to introduce a $100,000 application fee for H-1B visas. Over 70% of those visas currently go to Indian workers, many of them in the tech industry. And the White House maintains that its ultimate goal remains to put American workers first. But now, that message seems to be evolving. And Whether this marks a real shift in policy or just a tactical adjustment to growing economic pressure, what's certain is this will cause massive, massive turmoil within the Trump base.
Want the facts? The latest.
Boom.
Sounds like I kind of picked up what they were putting down.
I hear you.
I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily
I still
agree with
say,
half
yeah,
the-
yeah. I don't. I think. I still. I think. Are they teaching the stuff that needs to be taught here in order for us to have like? Because we should be doing that, right?
You talking about Americans
Yeah. Like.
being able to do those roles?
Yeah.
Yes. There's in most manufacturing companies, yeah, we have extensive training and stuff like that. And then
No.
sometimes-
Sorry. I'm talking about people who are creative to create like these certain missiles and whatever technology
like the technology based
in
stuff.
order
Yeah.
to
Yes.
create it.
Yeah, that is yes. But to be more efficient, a lot of times we use experts. Like there's a subject matter expert, people that go get their masters and stuff like that. We don't have a lot of American people in tech and computer science and stuff like that. Like a lot of our IT people are Indians, Asians, stuff like that. They don't go into these. Like I would have to look up the statistics on that, but for the most part, when you think about roles like engineering and stuff like that, it's going to be your other people from other countries, like your Indian individuals, Asian people, because they are subject matter experts for that specific craft. And we tend to hire them to learn, teach, or whatever the case may be, and grow from those individuals.
Now,
And you,
go ahead, Shari.
I was gonna say, we also have to, if we're gonna talk about that, we also have to talk about our educational system and how
We're
compared to other countries,
we're
it's-
way back, man. We're way back. We're in the
we're
back.
way back. We are way back because some
Behind.
of these countries they start learning these skills and technology based fields like in high school or
So-
even before that. They
So like
start
in
learning
Japan,
it.
like in Japan, for example, right? That you take entrance exams for like every layer of schooling, right? So if you don't pass, not only do you like you quote unquote your family's dishonored, like you can't go to certain schools just because you didn't pass. So all of it's just facilitated in order to breed excellence, and that's something we're lacking here. What I've noticed a lot too is for younger people, not a lot of people feel the need to go to school because you can just start fresh and run a business on your own. Like you find a niche market and you can explode. So like that's one of those
Right.
things where like I don't have to learn computer science. I'm not really worried about technology, but the world is so dependent on those things
Yep.
that we have to outsource those fields. And that's the balancing act. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, you're not qualified. We don't have the talent here, but we need this because it's growing at such an exponential rate that we would literally be left behind as a country if we didn't outsource it.
Yeah. And then as you talk about colleges and how expensive it is, you know, it's not incentivized. Like I'm crazy. I have over $100,000 in debt because of school, but not a lot of people see the value in doing that. I have faith that eventually it'll get paid back, and if it doesn't, you know, hey, it is what it is. But
But I'm gonna make my payments, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna make my
Like,
payments.
right.
You know,
So
like-
be it.
exactly.
Like
So be it.
luckily for me, right, I didn't need a degree for what I'm doing. I did go to school for some other stuff, and then like I had family emergency or whatever, so it took me out of that field for a little bit. But like at the same time, if I wanted to go to school, let's say in Georgia, right, my tuition isn't just paying for my education, like not specifically my education. I'm also paying for someone to get like a brand new training facility for D1 basketball or D1 football,
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff does come from donors, but me as a consumer of this education, I don't feel like my money should go there because it should be on my classes, and I can't even get a teacher to email me back in an efficient manner. Sometimes that's what happens. Teachers get burnt out; they don't do their job effectively. But I'm paying big money to go to a big school, and I don't see a reason in it when I could literally just pick up my phone, figure out whatever I need to figure out on YouTube, and then I can do my business that way.
Going to YouTube Academy, and then
Yeah.
but here's the thing: that doesn't make you qualify for nothing.
Right.
Right? You can go to YouTube Academy all you want, unless you got your own LLC. You ain't going to be working in no manufacturing company. And then the appeal of working in manufacturing right now, or any type of space like that, it's not that appealing. Nobody
No.
want to work 14 hours.
Nope.
These days
A
are
day.
long. A day. Yeah, these hours are long. Being an engineer, being these individuals, even being an operator. It's 12-hour shifts.
Yep.
We're in an age where technology has given us this leeway in America where we don't have to necessarily go anywhere to make money. So therefore, we are relying on our technology to make money, passive income, whatever type of income, without no realization or understanding of what it truly is.
I don't need to know how it works. I just need it to work.
I just needed to work. As long as it's working for me, I'm good. I'm making my dollars. I'm good to go. And these other countries is understanding it and knowing how it works, knowing how it moves, or whatever the case may be. And we're stuck in the background trying to figure it out. And this is where we are.
How are people who are not from this country incentivized to come over to this country and help America advance in technology?
The U.S. dollar. The dollar is more than most countries.
Yeah, most countries, and it's a freedom of choice. It's like specifically for China, they have really strict regulations on how they live and everything because it is a communist country. So if I can get China to let me come over here, first of all, and then I work for them for I work for a company here, I can build a life here, and I don't have to have as many restrictions. I can literally buy my own stuff instead of buying it for the Republic of China. And I'm only saying that because I was in the video, but like that's the thing.
Yeah, that U.S. dollar is very strong, and they're able to send money back to their country because they already know they're on a visa. If they go back, all right, I got 2 cribs, I got all of this, I have all of this thing set up for me, regardless if this country don't want me to stay here. I mean, I love it. I love what I'm doing. I'm able to fulfill what I need to do within the 6-month or 6-year period.
Yeah.
But when its time is up, my family is solidified.
5 or 6 years here gives me an exponentially better life in China or India.
Well, that was great, guys. Very informative. In addition to Trump saying that we need more people to come over from other countries, people are still being displaced from this country. ICE has made it to Charlotte, North Carolina. From reports that I've heard that 200, the murder rate has gone up 200% in Uptown.
Yeah, bro, it's a killing like every day.
In Uptown?
What?
In Charlotte, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you could speak to that.
The killings in Uptown?
To ICE coming to
no,
Charlotte.
I'm about to say I'm not worried about the killing. I mean, I am. I mean, watch your back because it is crazy out. Charlotte crazy. I ain't kidding. It's crazy out here. But but ICE is actually here in Charlotte. Matter of fact, a couple of my friends, their neighbor, she actually got taken out of her car right in front of her kids. Her kids is in the back seat. They smashed the window, taking people, and they're literally just going after any and everybody. People that are working, they're coming in your neighborhoods while you're working, doing landscaping, putting up Christmas decorations and things of that nature, and they pulling you and putting you straight up in the car, and you getting detained and getting out of there. There's other instances where they kind of racially profiling individuals. They say, you look like this part, so therefore you must be this part. Where they like, dude, I got my papers. I keep my papers in the bag. Where before people didn't even keep this type of documentation everywhere you go, but now you have to have a visa, your daggone passport, your real ID, all of these different types of documentation in order for you to somewhat almost still stay safe, because they're still throwing you to the ground, and they're doing all of these things by force. And these are regular people with federal clothing on. Does that make sense, doing this to you? And they have authority to do so. They're going into hospitals. They went into UNCC campus hospital not too long ago as well. This is something that's not even heard of. So they can come into rooms and things of that nature and pull you out, and you could be being administered aid, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. And most of the time, why would you be in a hospital? You know, hospitals take people that have insurance or whatever the case may be, so they're citizens or whatever the case. But it's just very really scary. Driving in these areas, they're driving like maniacs as well. They're running into people. People are just fleeing. This was the first time today, after this weekend, where traffic wasn't as bad. I was able to get home way faster because individuals are staying home. Some offices are actually closing. Other bodegas are actually closing. Companies that have been established for over 30 years are not opening because of the fear of, possibly getting taken by ICE. So it's very terrible, man. It's scary out here for families. Kids of parents and things of that nature have to run out and get groceries for them, have to get groceries for their families. They're going in all of the areas that predominantly Spanish speaking people are. It's just terrible.
Wow. So they're saying this is they've targeted Charlotte because of the uptick in the murder rate here. Do you believe that it has anything to do with people who are in this country illegally?
No.
You just believe like it was an excuse to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not policing the town. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're racially profiling individuals and taking them with them. These are people that are actually working. You know what I mean? Rather than, being at part of what happens up in Uptown Charlotte, or going in those areas where these deaths are actually happening, or where these murders are actually happening.
Yeah.
So it's really evident that it's not happening there.
Because apparently this was sparked from the death of the young lady on the train, where the man who should have been locked up slit her throat and all of that type of stuff. But he's from here. To my knowledge, he's not from anywhere else. She was a foreigner, and to me that does, and she was here legally. You know what I mean? Like she was was she? She was a refugee. But refugee,
so that would be protected if it's a refugee,
right? It does, so she was here legally. You know what I mean? So, and she was here for some years prior to. So, yeah. Well, that's super unfortunate. Let me ask you this, and this might be controversial. I'm not trying to be, but I just want to ask, I feel like I know Jeff's take on it. I don't know where Shari is at with it. Of course I know where I stand with it, but do you feel like people should be, if they're here illegally, do you believe that they should stay?
Yeah, I don't care.
So you don't care if they stay?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, why is that?
Because to me, they don't have most of the individuals, because I worked in manufacturing. Here's the thing. For every job that people do not want to do, they do it at a price that may be lower than you would expect an American to do. They do it. Most of the individuals that come in here illegally, if they were drug dealers, get the criminals. But individuals that are coming here illegal to seek asylum, trying to build a better life, because pretty much there's other individuals from Germany or all of the other European type of countries that are here illegally too, but we don't go after them.
Yeah.
You
Okay, I
understand
hear
what I'm
you.
saying? So the thing that for me,
Jeff might have something to say about that.
No, I'm just running in my mind to see if there's any stories about it going on.
no,
But
no, it's not that many.
It's
The
not
numbers
nearly
are,
as I know
the
there are
numbers are
some
few.
stories, but it's not nearly as big
Yeah.
The
as
numbers are few.
the Hispanic population for sure.
Right. So
Yeah.
and having those individuals come in and work years at these and becoming our SMEs, our best workers, our trainers, our bilingual trainers, and things of that nature for our occupations and jobs like that. Man, it's amazing. You truly need them, but I don't agree with criminals. Right. I don't agree with the crime, but for me, there's way more things outside of the immigrants that is way worse.
I feel like I don't believe that if they come in illegally that there shouldn't be any repercussion. I don't believe that personally. It's if it's illegal, it's illegal. You know what I mean? And so there should be consequences for that. As far because it is a privilege to be in this country, as they say, and all that. And I am not a patriot. I am not the most American boy here. Trust and believe. But because I don't, because if everybody's allowed over here, then like, you know what I mean? Then like, what is, you know what I mean? It's then like, what's the point? You know what I mean? But I do believe that it should be much easier to be over here. Do I believe that they should be getting ripped out of places and all of that type of stuff? No, but at the same time, it's like how do you get somebody out that shouldn't be here? You know what I mean? You can't just say, "Hey, please walk with me over here, please. You know you shouldn't be here." You know what I mean? Like we gotta do X, Y, and Z. I disagree with the camps. I disagree with all that type of stuff that was happening. I disagree with the kids being separated from their parents, and now apparently they since stopped that, but it's been even crazier for whatever reason. So because the kids have been separated from their parents, even the kids that are here legally, they're shipping them off with their parents now because they're like, yeah, you know what, you're right, they shouldn't be separated from their parents, so they shipping the kids off too. So I disagree with that. I mean, I don't know what the alternative would be when it comes to like ICE not being so vicious with how it's going down. Like I was saying, I think it should be a much easier process to be over here, if not become Americanized. Immigrants, people that come over here legally and are trying to become Americanized and all that. There's a test that they have to take, and it's super hard to pass, and all of that type of stuff is much harder for them to be American than it is for a person who's just born over here. All we got to do is be born over here to be here and be here legally, and all of that type of stuff. So I don't know. It's a catch-22 for me. And I understand how it makes people. It's very polarizing. It's a very polarizing situation. I believe I'm on the side of humanity, that everybody should be treated like a human. I understand what Omari's saying in regards to once they over here, they do good work. Once they over here, X, Y, and Z is happening. They're not doing X, Y, and Z, and people are blaming them for certain things. I hear what he's saying. On the flip side, I understand where a person is saying, look, this job that should be paying X, Y, and Z is paying this because somebody over here is willing to do it for cents on the dollar and all of that type of stuff and everything that comes with that, or like somebody saying like, and now this is kind of crazy, but like somebody getting hit by a drunk driver who was also over here illegally. And then that just adds insult to injury. Like, they shouldn't have been over here anyway. I understand it all. I do. And it's just a tough thing, man. It's tough. I do want to applaud O for sharing all of that with us. It's funny because he said he ain't have much to say about it. He said he ain't know much about it, but he he just gave us that whole rundown, which I greatly appreciate. But if anybody else has anything to say about the matter, the floor is yours.
Sure. So like I served, and when I was actively preparing for my deployment and stuff, one of my fellow Marines was going through the citizenship process also while preparing for deployment. He's from Colombia, and he got his citizenship essentially by the time we got back from our deployment. So like not only did he come home, but it was really his home at that point. So like essentially, Keith, I agree with you. Like it is a catch-22 because I feel like everybody that's here illegally should have come legally. I know that's not always the easiest case, and it's super expensive. Like with your example, like if they're here doing good work, it should be a way for them to gain their naturalized citizenship. It's just such a complicated mess of a thing that like where is the line and how do we draw it?
Right.
Kinda. Like, and that's harder to do when you look at it with that lens of humanity. So I'm just saying, like, I agree with you, but I also feel like there should be repercussions for it. Like, I don't agree with them bashing in windows and like snatching people out of cars and stuff. Like, that's OD.
Right.
And they're not really police officers, so it's kind of like, how do you effectively do your job and then do this other thing? Because we all know people that go above and beyond in the negative trying to do that type of work, right? But there's also people that are just showing up to work every day just trying to make sure things go smoothly. So like, I don't know, I have people in my family that I don't even know if they got here legally or whatever. They had to go through. They may have come here illegally and then got their citizenship that way. So like, it's a give and a take. You have to. I feel like if you're here for a reason, and you should work towards citizenship in the best way possible. How that is, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree with working towards citizenship.
And I feel like, again, right? So if you got here illegally and you decided to serve, you should be a citizen, right? If you're at a job and you're working, you've been here for years, and you never got here legally, I feel like there should be some type of avenue for you to gain your citizenship based on the amount of time and stuff you've been here. It gets harder and harder to delineate once we do that, because who's to say that you haven't been here illegally selling drugs, also being illegal or being a criminal and other facets. That's where that thing gets murky, and I think that's the hardest part about all of this. You know what I mean? Because the human part of me is like, it's dope being American. I love that. You know what I mean? The country is not perfect at all, and it needs a lot of work. But like, since I was little, the only thing that I could remember is being a part of something bigger than myself, and that's how I decided to serve, because I chose that path. You know what I mean? And like, I have family members that are police officers and people that were in the military, and then people that serve other ways and just give back to the community. Like, my mom's a pastor. So like, I'm lucky and blessed that I was Puerto Rican, so I wouldn't have had to go through the citizenship thing, even if I wasn't born here, because it's a territory. But like, I also can realize and empathize that not everybody is so blessed, and I just feel like there has to be a better way to go about it. I just don't know how.
Sorry. Anything? No?
No.
No worries. Here's the thing. It's hard to say, and I'll say this, and hopefully we can get off of it. But I do want to say this. Like, it's like I don't want to reward. I disagree with the. Not saying either one of you have said this, but like, if somebody comes over here illegally, and then we're like 10 years down the road, we find out that they're here illegally. I don't want it to now be like, oh, well, we're going to give you credit for breaking the law for 10 years.
No,
know what I'm
I
saying?
feel like there should be some repercussions for that too. But like I said, I don't know. I think there should be a pathway to citizenship. You know what I
I
mean?
agree, and I think all three of us, or maybe four of us, can come to that agreement. There should be an easier pathway for citizenship, and for at least legality, at least like being here
It's like
legally.
a visa or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I got a question.
because they
What
running. I'm gonna just say this real quick. Oh, I got you. Because they, like y'all was saying, they're leaving. They're coming over here for a reason. It's because it was horrible wherever they were for them to even come over here for the mass majority. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I do want to acknowledge that.
for when we as Americans go to other countries to move to live or anything like that, what is it? Is it frowned upon that we're there?
Um,
We're not no. For us
depends
to
on where. Yeah.
yeah. First, what do you mean? Like to visit?
No, I'm about to move. Like if I want to move to another country, I'm there illegally at that point as well.
No, it's like the only thing I could think of is like if you illegally cross the border to Canada or Mexico, because like it's harder to get on a flight and stay there illegally. You know what I mean? Nowadays. So
Nowadays, yeah,
yeah,
because of the climate of America. But
right.
what I'm saying is if I was to move to another country, is it still it would it is it should it be seen as the same thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they do view it that way too, because like there's a bunch of so I know in England a couple even in France recently there's like been an influx of like Muslims and stuff, and that's
Right.
been a contentious part for them too, just in that particular group because there was so many of them that came over that not all of them fall under the refugee or whatever. So like it's used politically in other countries as well. It's just kind of you pick your poison
Right.
or where you're going.
When Nick and Brittany moved to Europe,
Yep.
there was a process that they had to go through in order for them to be over there for that extended period of time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you just can't go over there and then stay there. You know what I mean? There is laws against that. Like now, like if we're talking about countries in Africa or whatever, a lot of times they're inviting us over there. They're like, yo, pull up, dual citizenship immediately if you want it and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, because it's an
But
influx of money when that happens too.
But here's the thing, right? It's about the law of the land. You know what I mean? It's whatever they're saying that you can or cannot do. You know what I mean? So I'm not even saying America should be doing that. Like it should just be like I'm not saying it should be a free for all, but I'm not saying like whatever their process is, right? But it's just the law of the land. If I go over to Zimbabwe and I do something that's illegal there, it's just illegal there. There was this one girl, sad to say, I almost wanted to talk about it. It might even be important to talk about. Her name was Niffer, or is Niffer. Apparently she did a dance on social media, and it was seen as treason for her country because like the dance was originated in another country or whatever it was, another country in Africa, and it was viewed as treason, and she is set to be executed because of it. Now, I'm not saying is first of all, I think that's wrong. I don't think it's right, and I know it's a bad example, but it's my point is that that was the law. That's what they were doing. You know what I mean? That like that's the time that they were on. You know what I mean? So like I would discourage people from doing what gets them beheaded. I would discourage people from doing what gets them, bounced out of the country in this super, super duper uber embarrassing, humiliating, dangerous way. All the same. But yeah.
I'm good.